Hey folks, Paul from Easy Acres Off Grid Homestead. Those of you who've been following me for a while know that I raise Coturnix quail out of my little off-grid slice of paradise. And for the past couple of years, I've had the quail in like this little elevated hutch, alternatively in their little quail tractor for my garden. But for the past few weeks, I've been chipping away at this here walk-in aviary for my quail. Now, an aviary is just like a bird cage, except for it is large enough to allow the birds to fly a little bit. When you look at Coturnix quail enclosures, they're going to come in one of two sizes. They're either going to be 18 to 24 inches tall, or they're going to be 8+ feet in height. And the reason for that is because quail, when they're startled, they generally fly straight up. And if you have an enclosure that's below 8 feet, you stand a chance of them hurting themselves actually by hitting their heads on the top of the cage or the aviary. So what you want is you want something that's 8+ feet in height, because that's about the limit that quail can fly. Now, my aviary I constructed with this lodgepole pine timber that harvested near my homestead. Lodgepole pine is wonderful stuff. It's really uniform across its length, and there's not a whole lot of branches or knots to deal with. Makes an ideal construction material. So the majority of the aviary is closed in with this chicken wire here, also called poultry netting. But down here towards the bottom, I have this more substantial kind of hardwire cloth. And the reason why is because quail are pretty susceptible to predators. As you can see on the bottom, I have it lined with stone, and this is actually dug down and about a foot deep, all the way around, and that wire's dug into the ground and also secured in the bottom with stones as well. Now, quail love brushy areas, so I built my aviary around this naturally occurring mountain mahogany tree. There's a nice little clump of them and a little antelope brush down there. And I don't know if you can see it, but the quail really like to spend their time here. They are ground nesting birds. And on the top, I just have some cheap Harbor Freight shade cloth and some guide wires that are run from each end. I'm probably going to end up putting more guide wires up just to hopefully keep that top from handling the snow load, which we're going to find out here in about a month if it's going to handle it. My fingers crossed. I hope that it does. Quail really appreciate having a place where they have nice, clean sand to take their dust baths, and I actually put two of these in here. I always find that having resources split up into different areas, be it food or water or these dust bath areas, really reduces a lot of the conflict. Grace did a fantastic job building this here door for me, and just some really inexpensive strap hinges to hang it from. And on the outside, I have this, pretty standard metal kind of gate latch. And I needed two latches, one for the outside and one for the inside, so I can keep the door closed when I'm in here cleaning or feeding the quail or, refilling their water or whatever I'm doing. Quail are temperate birds, so they don't require really elaborate housing. Over here, I have just a quick little covered area for them. And as you can see, just lined with some straw. They've been kicking up the dirt under there. But generally what they do is they cuddle together, kind of how you're seeing here, and puff up their feathers, and they use that to stay warm. It did take me some time to figure out exactly how I wanted to place the aviary because light exposure is really important for my quail. Their laying cycle depends on their photoperiod, so in essence, the more light you give them, the more eggs you're going to have. Also, I wanted this aviary to be within line of sight of my cabin. The reason being is because, like I said, quail are extremely susceptible to predators, so I wanted to be able to see it from my cabin, and I'm going to have motion lights set up here pretty soon, so that way I'll be able to know if something's coming around in the middle of the night to raid my quail pen. Now, one of the funnest aspects of building this aviary was kind of scaping it, and I don't know if you can tell through the camera, but there's areas of like kind of varying elevation and everything. I even put some like really shady little shelters over here for the birds and gave them a lot of options. I think doing that will lead them to be more healthy and in the long run more happy. Like everything on the homestead, it's going to be a work in progress. I have some ideas for some more scaping that I want to do on the inside of their enclosure, but let me know in the comments if there's any kind of enrichment or anything that you would do for your quail out here. So a couple things to consider if you want to build your own aviary is you need to make it tall enough so the birds aren't going to hurt themselves. You need to make it secure against predators because everything's going to want to eat your birds. And you want it to have really good light. Light exposure is very important for your quail. Light exposure is going to give you the most eggs and therefore the most bang for your buck. Anyway, folks, I am Paul from Easy Acres Off-Grid Homestead. Really hope you enjoyed the video. If you aren't subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and I promise I'm not going to fill up your feed all the time. But if you are a subscriber, thanks so much for watching. Y'all take care out there. Be well. Be easy.